Hey everyone,
Hi,
we're the ladies of Lanai. I'm Tina.
I'm Christine.
Thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining us.
Good.
Today is how to talk like a villager,
How to talk like a villager.
and so we're going to tell you some of the words and phrases we never heard before we came here.
Things we never knew until we got here. Absolutely.
So what's between the sixes when people refer to that?
Between the sixes is they're referring to 466 and 466A. They're two major east-west roads that dissect the villages, and so they're talking about if you live between them.
So when someone may say, "I live between the sixes."
That's where they live.
What's below 44? Because people will refer to
Yes, so
that
it's
too.
466, 466A, and then the next major east-west is 44. So that's southernmost.
Yeah, I live below 44.
Yeah, I will be living
Ooh, so
below.
exciting.
Yeah.
What are snowbirds, snowflake, and a frog?
Yeah. So snowbirds, you might have heard before. I mean, I did hear it before, but I didn't hear the other two.
Mm.
A snowbird is someone who usually has two residences, and they live in their primary residence most of the time. And they're snowbirds. They escape the snow and come somewhere warm, and they live here during that period of time.
Mhm.
And then they go back and they fly back. A snowflake is someone, which we were before we moved here full time, is someone who goes back and forth with no particular rhyme or reason, just goes back and forth. And a frog
Is someone who lives here until they croak.
lives.
They croak like a frog, I guess.
Yep.
I think those are also Florida terms, but they're village terms too. People
Yeah.
use snowbird a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What is snow? Then on that, what is snowbird season? Because you'll have people refer to
Yep.
snowbird season.
So, strictly speaking, snowbird season is January to March because, like, people spend their holidays home, and then they come here from January to March. So they're here when it's snowing up north. However, that is often extended to many people. Here we are in early October, and I can feel many people are saying we can feel, the numbers going up a little more cars, a little more,
It's more
um,
crowded in the restaurants and
more
the
crowded in the restaurant
squares
and the
and making
squares.
tea times,
Yeah.
all of that.
So it's generally January to March, though.
Okay.
hmm
What about when people refer to the squares? What are the squares?
So the squares are very unique sort of gathering places that they've built. Is Spanish Springs is the northernmost, and then Lake Sumter Landing is below that, and then Brownwood is below that, and then there's also Sawgrass Grove, and then there will be Eastport. The squares are where you can hear the music 365 days a year, weather permitting.
Mm-hmm.
There's restaurants, there's shops, and it's all centered around that center place where the entertainment is.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's festivals and or anything like that, it's always down in the squares.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
fun. I like the squares.
I do too.
What about when people say up north and down south? We're back kind of in the directions
Yeah,
thing again.
yeah. So up north is generally around 466, and north of that, and then the south is 466A, and below that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about when people talk about Ednas? We did a little thing on
Yeah, we
that,
did a
but
little thing on, and this was built down in the area of Marsh Bend and Fenny because at the time when they first built that section, there weren't going to be any squares, and the accessibility was a little not to be yet with the rest of the villages. The connectivity wasn't there, so they built Edna's at that time to give those people a fun place to go to, as well as the Fenny Grill. Edna's is a place that's it's unique to the villages. It's an outdoor venue underneath some beautiful trees. There's also entertainment there 365 days a year. There's food trucks, soon to be gone and replaced by
mm,
a brick and mortar.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a fun place.
it is. What about the historic section of the
Yeah,
villages? I don't
so
really know where that is.
we should go one time. It's
Yeah.
the northernmost, the original properties that were built. They're mainly manufactured homes, although some of them are now being converted, like they're being raised, and they're building homes there, more designer style homes, and it's old section.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sawgrass. You mentioned Sawgrass because
yeah.
that's not officially a square,
It's
but
not
it's
officially a
sort.
square because it's not as large as the three that we talked about earlier. And I think it sounds like Eastport, the one that's to be, will be even larger.
Yeah.
But Sawgrass is a if you it's to me it's sort of like Faneuil Hall in Boston in a way. There's an indoor venue that's got some nice little like walk up restaurant kind of
It's
places,
like
a
a
bar
food
in the
court. Yeah,
middle,
there's a
like a
bar.
food court
They have a good
thing.
coffee bar also in
Yeah.
the back of there.
Yep. There's a cookie place. There's a pizza place. There's a place where you can get really fine butchered meats. And there's also, of course, a big music venue there,
Right.
outdoor bar. It's and McGrady's Pub is there.
Yeah.
Sawgrass is really
I
kind of
like
cool.
Sawgrass a lot. I
Yeah.
do. It's one of my favorite. I'm actually going there tonight to see your favorite band,
Blonde Ambition.
Blonde Ambition.
It's kind of a big deal that they're going down there.
Yeah, that's what I heard because they're so popular in the villages, and Sawgrass is a much smaller, more intimate venue.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going a little early, but I'm going with some new friends.
Oh, fun.
So I learned how to make new friends from our video. So I'm going to do some
You took your own advice.
I took my own advice. What is living the lifestyle when people talk about that?
Yeah, so living the lifestyle means you're hopefully living out some dreams that you may have had. We may be like in our second chapter of our lives, and so whatever dreams you may have, like I'm going to take up some hobbies that I never had time to do, or activities that I've always sort of dreamt about, like you could paint, you could write, you could take up sports that, there's so many activities here. Hopefully you're fulfilling some
But that's kind of
dreams.
like the village's sort of tagline, isn't it? Or
It's
living
like
the dream.
we make your dreams come true. May all your dreams come true. You'll see that as an employee that we're called dream makers.
You are.
Yeah.
What's a lifestyle visit when someone books a
Mhm.
lifestyle visit at the
So
villages?
yeah, lifestyle visit can be from 4 to 7 days, and you get to stay in a fairly new home, and you get the golf cart, and you get 2 bikes,
Bicycle? Yeah.
and you get some free golf,
Yes.
one executive and one
I believe so. Yeah.
one championship round. You get
And
some
maybe some tickets to a show or
tickets
something.
to a show.
But your realtor has to book all
You
that.
book it through your
Yeah.
realtor. Yep.
But it's fun because, like you were gonna say, there's no pressure from the realtor, and they're there to answer your questions.
No, it's not like going on a what do you call those timeshares?
Yeah.
Where it's nothing like that. So I mean that's what you think of
Yeah.
when you think of I'm going to go check out a place. It is absolutely nothing like that. There's zero pressure.
And half the fun is having that golf cart.
I think so.
Golf carts are very big here.
Very big here.
And they're fun to go to the squares and things with.
It's so much fun.
Well, here's another one. Even though I grew up in the Midwest, but I lived in New York for 35 years. And when my friend came down, what's a lanai? Because I was trying to explain to him, and when I showed him, he goes, "Oh, I have a lanai, but they called it something else. But what is a lanai?"
A lanai, I know it's sort of like a back porch, but not really. It's generally on the back of the house, and it is your outdoor space that is generally also screened in, so you can enjoy or some people glass it in, but because it's generally like all windows all around or all screen all around, it's like sort of like bringing the outside in.
And because they're really popular here, that's kind of why we use the name Ladies of the Lanai.
That's why we chose it.
We did. And even though some people wanted us to tape on the lanai,
Yeah,
it didn't really.
We tried.
We tried.
It didn't work out.
What's a kissing lanai? So
Yeah,
you have a lanai.
kissing lanai is when you have going to use this little demonstration here. When you have two houses, and this is the back of one house is next to the back of the other, so the two lanais are facing each other. And you have a kissing lanai here.
I have a kissing lanai, and I did a little landscaping, so there's some shrubbery to put like a little bit of privacy. It has to grow. Yeah. It has to grow to be more private, but at least there's a little bit of a barrier there. But
it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah. What is ARC when people talk about ARC?
ARC is ARC, the Architectural Review Committee or Commission. I'm not really sure. I think
committee. Oh.
One of the two. So yeah, you went through that process.
Yeah, when I did some landscaping, you have to submit, because anything you do to the outside of your house, you have to have approval. And it's really just an approval. It's as long as you follow all the guidelines of your district. They meet once a week and you submit a form, and then they just, will approve it. If they don't approve it, they'll tell you what you need to do to make it right. But everything has to go through that.
I want to make sure that things are like semi, that there's nothing unusual like being constructed.
So everything looks pretty.
Everything looks pretty. And also, so that what I learned is that the plantings that you put in, they need to be, congruous with water conservation. Like they don't want you to put in plants that are going to require a lot of water and all things like that.
What is TOTV?
Talk of the Villages.
And what do they do?
It has nothing to do with the Villages Corporation. It's a private website that you can go to seek advice or just talk about anything you want to talk about. It's also there's classified sections where you can buy and sell what a property or belongings, furniture. It's a good little resource.
Yeah. What's a multimodal path? I can't even say that word right.
I know. Multimodal path is a roadway that's off the car roadway. So you get where the cars go, and then there's usually a berm or grass, and then there's the multimodal path. So it's a way that bicyclists can go on the road or on the multimodal, walkers, joggers, but primarily it's golf carts, so they can get back and forth.
But it's not golf cart only.
Not golf cart only.
So it's all the different ones. And there are a lot of bicyclists here.
There are.
And I see them a lot early in the morning. They ride in packs. They do. And I see a lot of tandem bikes, like people riding tandem. I'm like impressed. And they have the little mirror here, like a rear view mirror on their helmet.
There seems to be a lot of serious bikes. A lot of people in the recumbent bikes where you're sitting down low. There's a lot.
It's supposed to be easier on your knees, I think. It's like a low
on
rider.
Your back too, I think.
What's a noli?
A noli. Or a knoll. I'm not sure the proper. I used to say a knoll,
but they're everywhere.
They are everywhere. Or people would think they're geckos, but they're not geckos.
Oh, but they're teeny tiny
little lizards. They're harmless.
Yeah,
they eat bugs.
Ooh.
So they're good.
We saw one on the Lanai today. He was climbing up,
but we like them because they eat bugs.
Oh, what about feral pigs? I didn't know there were any down here.
Feral pigs or wild pigs is something if you're from the South or from the country, it's probably like no big deal to you. But I never knew that such a thing existed in civilization. But we saw them on the road driving down from Georgia, and I thought they were so cute. And then I came to learn that they're not. They're kind of pesty. They will ruin your garden. They'll go after you. So if you see one,
I don't want to be chased by a pig.
No, they're angry. They're angry. They're mean.
Angry pig. Okay. What are love bugs?
As opposed to mean pigs,
exactly.
We have love bugs. Love bugs. There's love bug season,
and why are they called love bugs?
Because they always travel together, like latched together, like two, and they're here in September and May,
I think,
and then they're gone.
But supposedly, like the issue with them is that there's a whole bunch of them, and they can get on your car and your windshield, and you have to make sure you clean it, or else it gets...
get it because they're sticky, and it's hard to get the sap off, or whatever you want to call it.
What is jukebox bingo, or also boozy bingo?
Well, you've done that, right?
I did, and I have a funny story. I went to jukebox bingo with my friend at Lazy Mac before it closed, and we had fun. It's where they do like a bingo card, and instead of like numbers, it's like the name of a band or a name of a song, and they'll play a song, and you have to see if that's on your card, and you mark it off. And I love yelling out the name, even if I'm wrong or whatever. They do it a lot at Sawgrass. They do it at Sawgrass, I think, every Monday night. But the funny story is, I had a friend coming on a visit, and I told her, we have to go to bingo. We have to go. It's so much fun, and blah, blah, blah. And we're like racing to get there. I'm like, we have to get there in time to get a seat because it's so crowded. When we got there, like hardly anyone was there. And I'm looking around, I'm like, where is everybody? But it was so funny that I was like, we're racing to go to bingo. And I'm like, what have I become to race to go to bingo? And then here's a big one, roundabouts. They're very big here.
Roundabouts, there's a lot of roundabouts here. I understand that the newer county, like Lake County, where we're in, they're not permitted there by the county for some reason, which is too bad because they're kind of nice. It keeps the traffic like
it's a circle
down,
right? Yeah. Instead of a stop sign,
right? So instead of coming with a stop sign or a light, you sort of it causes you to slow down and go around the circle. You can make your right, you can go straight, you can go around the circle if you need to make a left. But
if you use your GPS, it'll say take the first exit, take the second, take the third.
Yeah.
So you learn how to navigate roundabouts coming here real
Yep,
quick.
you do. You do.
Um,
There are some accidents from time to time in the roundabout,
yeah,
so
you have to be
approach them
careful.
slowly.
Yeah,
If you're in the roundabout, you have the right of way. If you're approaching the roundabout, you're supposed to
stop or
stop
yeah,
or
yield to
yield.
them. Yeah. What about driveway parties? Have you ever been to one?
I've never heard of driveway parties. I mean, I guess maybe block parties could be a thing that I've heard of, but before I came here. But driveway parties is it just sounds like you want to have a party. You want to invite lots of people. Everybody they
Get to
have
know
them
your
in their
neighbors.
driveway. A lot of
Some
people
people.
will
Oh, yeah.
they'll hire a band or
Mm-hmm.
a DJ, and people will bring their chairs. A lot of times it's potluck as well. They're
Mm-hmm.
usually I've been to a couple. They're
Yeah,
fun.
they're fun to meet new people and
Yeah,
whatnot. That's also another way to make friends in the villages.
just go
Just
because
go.
usually they're completely open
Um,
house.
and then another thing moving here, I noticed, and I joined the crowd. I don't know if you have one where the little sign, you have like a, what is it called? A lamppost in the front?
Yeah,
But they're little signs that people put, and usually it has like their name or maybe some hobbies or whatever. And mine has my name and my dog's name
yeah,
on a bone.
yeah. We chose to keep it generic. We kind of thought it was funny. The joke was that people were out and doing whatever they're doing, got lost, and at least they could find their name and know they're at the right house. But and I know my other friend Barbara, she's got well, her where she's from originally on there and her name, and then yeah, like you said, her kitty cat's names too.
Yeah. And then lastly, living the dream. What is living the dream? We
Yes.
sort of discussed it a little bit, but
Yeah, we talked about lifestyle, living the
yeah,
lifestyle, living the dream. I guess this being like a second chapter in our lives, it's time for us to we've been workers, we've been parents, we've been grandparents, we've been aunts and uncles and maybe caretakers, and now it's sort of our time to and take out some time to do some of the things that we may be dreaming about
yeah.
doing that we never tried before, like doing theater,
Or
you
revisiting the things you used to do.
revisiting, like
I'm
playing
yes,
softball.
I'm redoing creative things.
Hmm.
Um, rejoined like a book club,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Or whatever you could dream about.
yeah,
If you wanted to try something new, like writing or
there's so much here to do.
painting, there's just so many, and we'll spend another segment on the different activities.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so I think that's kind of hopefully
Yeah,
that'll help you be in the know of how villagers talk
yeah.
and
Some
what
villager
they
words that you might not have heard of before you came here.
right. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the Lanai.
Please make
Oh
sure if
yeah.
you like this video, please like it and please subscribe and make sure you're asking for notifications because that really helps us a lot. We appreciate it.
Thank you everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.